We didn't really see that, but we've been told by our guides that there was more poverty within the cities. And then we went to some of the more rural areas, farming villages, and I didn't get a sense of extreme poverty at all. I got a sense that people were
they do pretty well.
Yeah, they you know, they weren't doing amazingly well, but everyone had enough to eat. Everyone had a house, and that's a lot different than some of the other nations. Like I've been to rural parts of China or rural parts of Latin America, and there's extreme poverty. So I think Turkey's doing much better.
They had good social service systems. I mean, people needed help. Like we have American Red Cross, we have United Ways, we have all those. Did you get the sense that they had that kind of infrastructure as well?
I think so. We talked to the NGOs. We talked to a group of maybe 6 or 7 different NGOs. So we talked about some of the different social services available, and it seemed like, especially for children, there were services.
It seemed though that they're more in the launching phase of those services than in the perfection phase. Not like we're in the perfection phase of taking care of our own, but I do feel like we probably have a more pronounced way of taking care of people here. Also, the difference too in education between urban and rural was pretty large. I mean, there's a big difference here in the U.S. Typically the urban areas are the toughest ones for teachers, for educators, and for students. But there, it seems like kids only go to school half days in the city, and then they're dismissed. They only have 5-hour school day. While in the rural areas, they have the typical 8-hour school day like we do in the U.S.
Okay. Very interesting. About cultural diversity, did you see people from all over the world there, or was it, talk about that a little bit.
Well, we're probably not that knowledgeable about telling the difference between all the different people, but it did seem like it was primarily Turk. You did see some other people like the Kurds, some Europeans, some Jewish people, but after World War I and the Ottoman Empire collapsed, it seemed like everybody who was living in different areas of the Ottoman Empire just decided, well, I'm going to go back to my original nation. So the Greeks that lived in what's now Turkey would pick up and go back to Greece, and the same thing with the Turks living in Greece would come back to Turkey. So again, maybe it's that we don't know enough about telling the difference between the cultures and the ethnicities, but it seemed. I mean, there was diversity, but not like the United States. It's very different coming from a country of such wealth of diversity that we have here to go somewhere else and try to judge that.
Fascinating,
We talked about it was predominantly Muslim, but you could determine that everyone tended to handle or work through that in regard to their preferences to how they observed, even though you had your 5 prayer. Okay, because we were in Senegal some years ago, and which is predominantly Muslim as well. Africa, and we did know that they were having their prayer time, but it didn't appear everybody was involved.
And they also had a big Christian community as well. Did you notice other religions and stuff like that? Or were you exposed to that kind of thing?
I believe it's 98 or 99% Muslim.
Okay, but that was wow.
So wow.
Well, even in Senegal, it was 83% Muslim.
So I didn't really see a lot of other people of other religions, but like it's hard to tell too, because if you're not wearing a headscarf or if you're not in a burqa, you can walk around and you could be any religion.
That's true.
So we didn't really observe that.
So you didn't have seminars on stuff like that? I mean, like tour guides, they talk about various,
not really.
Just kind of took you around.
Our tour guide was very secular. He said he was a non-believer. And so are most of the people that we ran into. So while Cynthia said that they're 98% of the Islamic faith, I don't think that most of them practice, or if so, many of them don't practice. So I think it's more of a personal commitment for different people, and some people who said that they were devout Muslims just said that they didn't go to the mosque.
Interesting.
So again, I think for them it was more personal.
But we definitely didn't see any churches or synagogues along our way. It was all mosques.
All mosques.
Dominating the skyline. Beautiful too.
Could you tell the American presence was there? Were there any McDonald's there? That's what I'm asking.
Absolutely.
Burger King seemed more pronounced than McDonald's of all chains. But there was some presence. It wasn't invasive though. We saw I think I saw 4 Burger Kings and 2 McDonald's our whole time.
There were some Starbucks too. I remember seeing some Starbucks.
So we have made our presence.
Yes.
So
We always do.
You always do.
That's right, always do. Capitalism is going to win out. Yeah.
Let me ask you, going a little differently here, and both Cumberland Valley and Harrisburg, I believe Harrisburg participated in the World Affairs Quest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
And talk about that, and how you prepared your students for that. That's another initiative that is a national initiative that we had some young people that were successfully, you know, in our competition locally, that went on to D.C. But I'm going to say Cumberland Valley, I should ask Cumberland Valley, they have sworn that that will not happen again, that they will be truly, okay, the crown winners, right?
I guess so.
Okay, we've been told as such that there's a lot of competition there. Okay, so I think y'all had 2 teams or so, or 3.
Probably.
Yeah,
I
that
think
were
Cumberland
represented.
Valley had 3 teams
Yeah,
there,
3
actually.
teams.
Yes.
And what is it? What's the quest? What is it?
Well, what the World Quest is it's a quest for a high school team. So there's four people per team, and they're just questions about international news or international facts, whether it's geography or history. And the teams are given kind of topics, not necessarily questions, but topics to study about a month in advance, and these teams form. They study, and then one Saturday they meet, and it's just kind of like a quiz bowl, if you're familiar with that setup. And the students are quizzed, they write down the answers to the questions, and it's all based on international national news, facts, things like that. So, yeah, Harrisburg, the SciTech participated this year, so hopefully we'll get a team from Harrisburg High School as well.
Good, great. Yeah, so now were there any requirements after you came back? I mean, you went for 14 days, right? And we asked whether or not you're going to do a presentation with the World Affairs Council. Was there anything else that you were asked to do, or no, or just kind of, what were the marching orders after you got back?
Readjust.
Just readjust.
The time zone thing was something that wasn't that easy for me. So
Yeah, what's the time zone thing?
they're 7 hours ahead of us.
7 hours ahead.
Okay.
Right now it's going on 6 o'clock.
There.
There.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, I think it was more difficult going there to adjust than it was coming back, at least for me. Cynthia's face is saying possibly
Yeah, I
otherwise.
disagree with that.
Is that right?
I do disagree with that, but I guess that's kind of a personal issue. We do have to execute some lessons in our classroom as well.
Okay, so.
When we were applying to go, we kind of had to come up with a plan and saying this is what we'll be doing with our students and in our classroom. So once the school year starts up, we'll kind of be working with that more.
Okay, real good. Yeah, I wondered about that because that's quite a wonderful opportunity, and to be sponsored by a group such as the World Affairs Council. Well, you said actually it was a Turkish
Cultural Foundation.
Turkish Cultural Foundation. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so good. Now, can you reapply to go again for something else, or
We wish.
it's like a one and done kind of deal?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But still, great opportunity, man. Great
But
opportunity.
I mean, next year they've been doing this every year since 2007.
Okay.
So next year, other teachers, if you're watching, you may apply as well. I'm sure the Harrisburg World Affairs Council will be sponsoring another 3. Hopefully,
Fantastic.
they sponsor
I
another
hope
3.
they do too.
Yeah,
Well,
I
we've
hope
run
so.
out of time, and I want to thank you both for coming on.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. You know, I wish I could have gone with you, by the way. It sounds great.
Yeah, he was a social studies major.
But that's right, yeah. But you know, it's been great, and I hope that you get a chance someday to also participate in something such as this, because it just helps to broaden your view. And I hope that you enjoyed this program as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Hey, Nate and Pat, we'll see you next time here on Life Esteem. See you.
Welcome to Life Esteem,